Pope Francis has quietly reduced sanctions against a handful of pedophile priests, applying his vision of a merciful church even to its worst offenders in ways that survivors of abuse and the Pope's own advisors question. One case has come back to haunt him. An Italian priest who received the Pope's clemency was later convicted by an Italian criminal court for his sex crimes against children as young as 12. The Reverend Mauro Inslee is now facing a second church trial after new evidence emerged against him, the Associated Press has learned. The Inslee case is one of several in which Francis overruled the advice of the Vatican's Congregation for the Doctrine of the Faith and reduced a sentence that called for the priest to be defrocked, two canon lawyers and a church official told AP. Instead, the priests were sentenced to penalties including a lifetime of penance and prayer and removal from public ministry. In some cases, the priests or their high-ranking friends appealed to Francis for clemency by citing the Pope's own words about mercy in their petitions, the church official said, speaking on condition of anonymity because the proceedings are confidential. With all this emphasis on mercy, he is creating the environment for such initiatives, the church official said, adding that clemency petitions were rarely granted by Pope Benedict XVI, who launched a tough crackdown during his 2005 to 2013 papacy and defrocked some 800 priests who raped and molested children. At the same time, Francis also ordered 3 longtime staffers at the congregation dismissed, 2 of whom worked for the discipline section that handles sex abuse cases, the lawyers and church official said. One is the head of the section and will be replaced before leaving March 31. Vatican spokesman Greg Burke said the others 2 will be replaced and that staffing in the office, which has a years-long backlog of cases, would be strengthened after Francis recently approved hiring more officials. The speed with which cases are handled is a serious matter and the Holy Father continues to encourage improvements in this area, Burke told AP. He also dispelled rumors that sex abuse cases would no longer be handled by the congregation, saying the strengthened office would handle all cases submitted. Burke said Francis' emphasis on mercy applied to even those who are guilty of heinous crimes. He said priests who abuse are permanently removed from ministry, but are not necessarily dismissed from the clerical state, the church term for laicization or defrocking. The Holy Father understands that many victims and survivors can find any sign of mercy in this area difficult, Burke said. But he knows that the gospel message of mercy is ultimately a source of powerful healing and of grace. St. John Paul II was long criticized for failing to respond to the abuse crisis, but ultimately he said in 2002 that there is no place in the priesthood or religious life for anyone who would harm the young. Francis has repeatedly proclaimed zero tolerance for abusive priests and in December wrote to the world's bishops committing to take all necessary measures to protect them. But he also recently said he believes sex abusers suffer from a disease, a medical term used by defense lawyers to seek mitigating factors in canonical sentences. Marie Collins, an Irish abuse survivor and founding member of France's Sex Abuse Advisory Commission, expressed dismay that the congregation's recommended penalties were being weakened and said abusers are never so sick that they don't know what they're doing. All who abuse have made a conscious decision to do so, Collins told AP. Even those who are pedophiles, experts will tell you, are still responsible for their actions. They can resist their inclinations. Some joggers weren't joking when they said they were going out for a brief run. In briefs, boxers, bras and bloomers, they ran 3/4 of a mile in a Valentine's Day related charity event benefiting sick children. Saturday's annual Cupid's Undie run featured 1,000 people in their underwear and little else, except for maybe some body-painted hearts, angels and Cupid's arrows on their chests. Participants, some of whom shaved hearts into their chest hair, ran through the streets near the city's sports stadiums. Previous years' events have taken place despite snow, but weather for this year's was sunny with temperatures approaching 70 degrees. Prompting runners in their scanty panties to chirp, "Sun's out. Buns out." Sisters Melissa Tamimi, in gray panties and a matching sports bra, and Sofia Tamimi, in black panties and a gray lacy bra, had no problem mentioning their unmentionables. "I'm about as comfortable as you could be running in underwear," Melissa Tamimi said. Similar events took place in other cities, including St. Louis, Miami, Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Money was raised for the Children's Tumor Foundation to help research neurofibromatosis, a genetic disorder that causes tumors in the nervous system. The incurable disorder can cause physical deformities, blindness, deafness and chronic pain, usually in adolescence. Runner Jeff Eckert, who's 30 years old, said he was diagnosed with neurofibromatosis, also called NF, when he was 5. He said he was participating in the Undie run wearing Superman boxer shorts to help raise money and awareness. Philadelphia race director Dan Frenia, whose wife and 12-year-old son have been diagnosed with NF, said this year's race raised hundreds of thousands of dollars and the national events have raised about $20 million over the last few years. He said he hoped to grow the Philadelphia event from 1,000 people to 3,000 or more and spread the word about NF so a cure can be found. "This is our passion in life," he said. "This isn't just a one-day event for us." Cupid's Undie run is a fun run, not a race, organizers said, so there was no declared winner other than the Children's Tumor Foundation. Friends Ellie Russo and Kendra Shearer ran among the 53 members of a team called Hope for Ella, which was named in honor of a 10-year-old girl with NF and raised the most money on Saturday, $26,810. They wore red bras and matching cheeky boy shorts with the message on the buttocks, "I take my pants off for charity."